George Sawtooth here. I'm at the Johnstown Cemetery. Look at this beautiful day with these beautiful clouds. I don't know if you guys ever been to the Caribbean, those billowy white puffy clouds. These remind me of the Caribbean clouds. This cemetery is kind of up on a little hill. That's Highway 60 down there, with the hills just above Highway 60. And Johnstown is growing a lot. It's amazing. They're putting in new housing everywhere. They have put in a brand new high school just that way. Is that the brand new high school there? That could be it there. Another pretty day here in Colorado. It's supposed to be a snowstorm coming again tomorrow. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Shank family. They lived in between Milliken and Gilchrist. In 1919, they were a family of 6. They were murdered by their farmhand. He thought he wasn't getting enough money from Adam here. Adam was the father. Elizabeth was the mom. Why is she not on here? That's kind of strange. Was she buried in a different area? That is so strange. But Adam was the dad. Oh, Lizzie, there you go. Elizabeth. So they kind of have a name for her, Lizzie. So she was 28. Adam was 32. Margaret was 8. Florence was 5. Juanita was 3 and Wesley was 1. They were shot point blank with a 38 gun by the farmhand. His name was Alex Miller. He was born October 2nd, 1881 in Russia. He moved to the United States when he was 12 years old. He died in 1961 in prison. He was eligible for parole in 1958. But nobody wanted him. His family didn't want him. We don't want to take care of this guy. He murdered 6 people. So he stayed in prison till the day he died, which was in 1961. He learned how to work with leather. He made like dog collars. I think he made purses for women. I guess he was a good prisoner. But so the story goes, look how pretty this is. And it's kind of windy today, so bear with me. So George lived in Johnstown. George was the cousin of Adam. And he would go and visit them, and he went and visited them, I think on a Sunday or a Monday, and found that, where is everybody? There was a broken window. He looked in and he saw Adam laying on the floor with blood everywhere. He immediately ran to the neighbors, called the sheriff. The sheriff came, noticed that their bodies were still kind of warm. They had all been murdered at point blank range. Horrible, horrible. They ranched on the old Denver Road 2 miles south of Twin Bridges, which is just the South Platte River, just over by Milliken. And if you watch one of my videos, the Fort St. Vrain marker, that ranch was very near there. So a lot of history happened in that area. So yeah, then they let me get some of my notes here, because I don't have the memory I used to as a young. I'm an old man now. I used to have a lot better memory than I do now. Miller found himself in the middle of the investigation of Michael Shank. Alex Miller, the murderer, he was known as a very quarrelsome disposition, often attended dances in Evans with the sole intention of starting a fight. This guy was kind of a butthead, wasn't he? Several years before the murder, Miller beat an Evans man with a wagon spoke in LaSalle. The assault was so violent that the man was unconscious for 12 days. I wonder if he was ever the same ever again. So this guy was a bad guy. Whenever he got drunk, he was a violent drunk. And when you drink to the point where you get so violent you don't know what you're doing, you got to stop drinking. You know, that's not good. It's okay to be a happy drunk if that's what makes you happy, but don't get violent. So another man picked up Miller on the same day, same time, from the train depot in Platteville. A woman reported seeing Miller at the station bound for Denver. A ticket agent, so they found him in Denver. He bought a ticket right after killing these people. The Denver police caught him. He was with a woman in Denver, and they put him in jail. But the reason he was so mad at Adam here is that he thought he was shortchanging him some money. Because Adam and this family, where they were pretty good farmers, pretty successful farmers, they grew potatoes and sugar beets. A lot of sugar beet farming in early Colorado. And my dad was actually, before he was went into dairy, became a dairy farmer, he was a sugar beet farmer for a little while. And he became a dairyman for 25 years, very successful dairyman. So yeah, and then let me tell you how this guy, man, it's so windy today, I apologize. I need to do this video on a day that's not so. So the sheriff, when this guy was in jail, this Alex Miller, he put in a guy, a marshal, and he went in as a prisoner with this Alex Miller, and he got this information. And this Alex Miller, by the way, he was a mute, so he couldn't talk or couldn't hear, so he had to communicate with sign language. And this officer went undercover into the prison and became his friend and started talking to him sign language. And this is when this Alex told him and confessed to him that he had murdered this family of 6. Yeah, so he was convicted of 6 counts of murder. It was all circumstantial evidence, unfortunately, so he didn't get the death penalty. So they put him in prison for a few until the end of his life. But like I said, he could have gotten parole in 1958, but nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted to take care of this guy. He was in his 80s, obviously, and you know, he couldn't go back into society back in those days without your family helping you. But I'm here at the old Shank family plot here in Johnstown, Colorado. This poor family was shot to death, point blank range, right in their heads. Can you imagine? And he shot them one at a time. He started with Adam, then he went with poor little Wesley, and then he shot I believe it was Margaret, and then Elizabeth, and then the other 2 girls, Florence and Juanita. Can you imagine what those poor kids, they saw their mom and their dad and their brothers and sisters being shot to death. What an evil man that guy was. That's Alex Miller. But yeah, it was the Schenk family murder, 1919, 1920. He finally went into prison in 1920 and died in prison in 1961 at the penitentiary up in Canyon City. He is buried up there now. I guess even the warden liked him so much that he put up enough money to get the guy a grave. I guess he had the love of Jesus in his heart, I guess, to forgive that guy. But such a tragic story here, Weld County, Colorado. Such a tragic, tragic story. Those poor kids, I feel so sorry for those poor kids. Man. I'm thinking maybe sometimes God gives you a second chance at life, though. Maybe you know, I'm a big believer in Christ, but maybe he does give you a second chance. Maybe you do come back at a later point and get to be able to live again, get another chance to live in this beautiful world, this beautiful, insane, crazy world, but it's such a wonderful, wonderful place to live too. You know, the Shank family murders. So I probably didn't do it justice, so go online and do a Google search and check out for yourself what happened. It's too bad that a person gets so angry over money, and after drinking so much, you think this guy owed you more money, and you go and shoot his family one by one. Horrible. And they were just farmers just trying to live their lives, trying to have their kids grow up, do the best that they can. 1919, these people were murdered. Alex Miller, he went into prison in 1920. I think it only took like 5 hours to convict him. All right, George Sawtooth signing off. Look at this beautiful day, though. I'll give you a chance to look at this beautiful, beautiful